if you really care about the economics of our country and the country that I'm going to inherit when I grow up, then you would want to keep the water that we have, because groundwater is a priceless resource. There's just no getting around that. It's not like we're not Saudi Arabia. We don't have infinite oil in the ground. We need our water for our industry. So people who make the economic argument that America's in a recession, we need that gas to get economically, stable again, they're basically saying, let's sell out young people's futures. Let's destroy the possibility of a prosperous America in the future for now so that we can get rich off of something that destroys our health.
November 29th last year, the DEC put out their regulations package. They have a whole year to get that regulations package passed. The Cuomo administration just said we're going to do a health study of fracking, and they just announced it, and we don't know anything about it. It's not transparent. In other words, if they do an actual legitimate health study, they will miss their November 29th deadline. There's no real way to do a health study in 3 or 4 weeks. Can we just, for 10 seconds, hear from Craig Stevens, who traveled from the frack zone in Pennsylvania?
Thank you. Let me tell you, Josh has changed the world, that movie, and everyone's denying it, but I'll tell you what, everything in there is true. The 33 families that they list can no longer speak. Everyone's been silenced in Dimock by gag orders. Sean, you and Yuka and your mom started Artists Against Fracking on July 13th. That was my birthday. Thank you very much for my best birthday present I've had ever. That has changed. You don't understand what happened. Before we had Josh and Mark and these wonderful people, Water Defense, Frack Action, all these great groups. They were being, who are these people? They can't look at Artists Against Fracking and say, who are these people? They're the people they're going to rely on, especially Governor Cuomo, to re-elect him in 2014. And if he lets this happen, they better just say no. I want to highlight one thing. The list of the harmed. Just go list of the harmed. It's very easy to find. Hundreds of names on this list from all over the country that have been damaged by this industry. Don't tell them this is not true. Matter of fact, go and drink their water. I started a thing called Come and Drink It, and Governor Corbett will not do it. I met Sean at the Constitution Pipeline meeting where I came up and spoke. Sadly, I have a PhD in pipeline from getting installed on my property. They dumped 100,000 gallons of that junk on my property. They call it liquid of unknown origin. And I call it, I'd like to send it back to them, but just knowing that we have friends. Martin Luther King said very famously, and I'm going to get it out here so I don't mess it up here. In the end, we'll remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Where I live, in my own community, the silence is deafening. And it is very pleasing and makes me feel great to have friends here in New York. By the way, my mother is from Oswego, New York. I'm a 5th-generation New Yorker and a 6th-generation landowner in Pennsylvania. If you let this industry cross the line, the state line, and start this process, you are insane. It is generational suicide. Fight this with everything you have. If we have to put a human chain across that line, we're going to have to cut it out of Pennsylvania like a cancer. But we're not letting it happen to my mother's home state.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Scott Scared. Thank you, Scott Johansson. Sign up at unitedfraction.com. Sign up at New Yorkers Against